Hi everybody, this is Wade from Wade's Orchids here, and today we're going to repot a few Cattleya seedlings. I've got two different sizes here. This one is a 3-inch pot, and this one's in a 2-inch pot. Both of them are roughly near blooming size. The one in the 2-inch pot is a very small grower or miniature, and this one and its partner here are what I call compact growers. So what do we look at first of all to tell if we want to repot our Cattleya? First of all, right now this is going to start putting out some new roots, and the roots are going to be really at the edge of the pot, or maybe some might even be going outside the pot. So that's one thing for sure that we want to repot. Also, we want to repot when plants are, if possible, in active growth. Here in the greenhouse, sometimes that's not possible and things go okay, but the best thing to do is to look for some green root tips, which I do not see on these because the root tips are all down in the pot here. So we're just going to take our chances with that. We'll take the label out for later on. And the first thing is we want to get this out in the pot. So I'll just take an old plastic tray here that I have, and I just squeeze each side here to loosen the roots. Now this is potted in a fairly fine seedling grade bark, and we'll take a look at the roots here. I can tell right now we've got a really nice set of roots. These roots have filled the pot, and I'm going to just work my fingers around here to loosen the media. Maybe tap it a little bit, get most of it out, because we want to go to a more coarse media. We're going to go a larger pot also. So a larger pot dries out less quickly than a small one. That's one of the main reasons we want to go for a larger medium, and this is what we're using. This is what I call medium bark here, and it's got perlite in to match the size of the bark. That's what you should try to do if possible. This is number 4 perlite. It's not always possible to find this size. It's hard to get a hold of, but try to get as large as you can for doing this kind of thing. This is going to go into a 4.5-inch pot. If you look here, I always try to choose pots that have got a good amount of drainage, and that is something that orchids always need. And you can start by either putting some styrofoam peanuts in the bottom, or I pick out some perlite to put in the bottom to help with drainage, larger pieces of bark maybe, just to cover the bottom. And then I will size things up here. I'm going to put just a little more in. So, so this is at proper height when I put the bark in. Proper height is so that the base of the rhizome here should be a little bit below the top of the pot. I'd say a 1/2 inch at least. If you look at this, something like that. Okay, and now I'm going to just start filling it around loosely, and I'm pulling this back towards the back rows so that we have more room for the front rows. And once I have this around here, I'll wiggle it a little bit, try to get pork to settle down in. We want to have good contact between the bark and the roots. And we'll just firm things up. I use my thumb. Some people like to use what they call a potting stick, which is about like the end of a broom handle or something like that. Push this in, but we want it fairly tight. Not to the point that we're going to be crushing the roots or anything, but you know, just try to get things in so that it's fairly tight. Now, I'm using medium bark for this. I think most of you should use medium bark for something this size. The problem comes when you're working with smaller plants like the one in a 2-inch pot here. We'll get to that in a little bit. I want to finish this. This particular one is LC Rosebud Carmela crossed with BLC Robert and Michael SVL. And I see a sheath here. Now, I don't know if that will produce a flower or not, but it's getting close to blooming size. Something like that. I sell as near blooming size, or possibly blooming size if I think it will bloom. Let's do the other one here. This one is the same cross. Rosebud cross with Robert and Michael. And get this back up here. And again, squeeze the sides. Now, as I'm talking to you, this is 1st of December here. A lot of plants are going dormant, and you may not want to pot it this time. Especially species you have to be very careful of, because species plants tend to have a very pronounced dormancy, more so than hybrids do. Hybrids in general are more forgiving. So work this around a little bit. This also has good roots. Not quite as many as the other one, but still pretty good. And now we're going to take our 4.5-inch pod here. And like I said, I usually like to get some perlite or something in here on the bottom, or styrofoam peanut, to help make sure that drainage is very good. Because I treat a plant this size as an adult, which means I want it to get almost dry before I water it again. And we have to consider that when we repot. Now, this is all affected by how much light you're giving the plant, what the relative humidity is. how much air movement you have. It's all, as I've said many times before, this is a holistic type thing. You really can't separate one factor from the other because they will all affect each other. So when you're thinking about how long this will take before it needs watered again, Cattleyas, especially a mature Cattleya, once about a 4 to 5 day stretch during this time of year. During the middle summer and growth season, it might need more watering than that, you know, going to twice a week. But right now, these will be watered about every 4 to 5 days. The bark here in perlite is dry. I usually pot things that are, you know, with dry potting mix like this because I don't know how long this is going to be before I use it again. And if it's wet, having something wet in an enclosed area, like in a container with the lid on, you stand a chance of really inviting bacteria and fungus to start breeding in there. So I just use a dry mix, and I will water thoroughly after I am done potting these up. So there we have the other one. Work the label back in here, and it'll be ready. Now we're going to take a look at this little guy. This is Seagull's Mini Cat Heaven crossed with RLC Cat E Sun. This is a yellow with some parts of orange in it. It will vary depending on, you know, each seedling. So I just squeeze this around here. Now we got a good root system in this also. Let's just look at things here. Yeah, really nice root system. And this is going to go into a 3-inch pot. And what I do with this is I will use mostly medium bark here. Now this time I will just put it in first and then start putting the bark in around it. Now, being that this is a 3-inch pot, it will dry out more quickly. So, and this is a personal thing here for me. After I get some of the medium bark in, I'm going to switch back and use some seedling grade bark. So this is worked in fairly good, and I do see green root tips on this one. So it's doing well. And here is our seedling grade bark. And what I'm going to do is just put a little bit of this. They call this a top dressing. Okay. And again, we want to have good intimate contact between the potting mix and the roots. So this is about ready. and that's it. Okay, so no need to be afraid of doing damage to anything. You're going to encourage new root growth from this, and I doubt very much if I've really harmed any roots very much in doing this. This will bloom in this pot here. Just to prove it to you, I have one here that has just opened, and we have to show it to you here. So this is the same cross. This is Seagull's Mini Cat Heaven crossed with RLC Cat E Sun, and it's blooming in a 3-inch pot, like what I just potted that one into. So, like I said, a 3-inch pot will dry out more quickly than a 4.5-inch pot, even though I use some seedling grade bark. Now, in a 2-inch pot, I use all seedling grade usually, unless it is something like that has Bratonia in it, has got a lot of Cattleya clandii or something like that, you know, close to the species. And I think that it may need more drainage, then I will just go with medium bark. Even then, now I'm capable of watering things like every 2 days if I need to. If you don't water as much as me, you might want to use something that is a little bit more fine. As I said before, everything in your growing environment is interrelated as to how it affects the plants. So what I will do now is I will take these and water them thoroughly and put them back on the bench, and they'll be ready to go. If I forgot anything, or if you have any questions about this, please let me know. I also, at the end of this, I'd like to thank the people from 3 North Carolina societies who invited me down earlier in the year for speaking engagements. I had a lot of fun doing that, and I made some really good friends in it, and I hope to be speaking at some place that's near you sometime soon. Okay, everybody take care and happy growing. Bye-bye.